What up? Wade here. So, found a little grassy knoll on my way back from a meeting that I just had. And so I brought the selfie stick and a little mic just in case I had a little time. And I do have a little time here to shoot this video. And so, what I was doing, why I got to rock the suit, is that I was meeting with this super successful sales consultant who I met. He's a professor at Chicago Booth, Ivy League Business School. And we're doing some sales automation stuff for my company with some of the MBA students there, which is going really awesome. And I wanted to kind of set aside some time to meet with him and see if he could help out, kind of take things to the next level from a consulting perspective. And so what was interesting and related to the personal boundaries here that I want to dive into and kind of being cutthroat with your time is that when we scheduled a time to meet, all of a sudden he goes, "Oh yeah, cool, talk to my assistant and we'll set up a time to meet." And I'm thinking, you can't look at your calendar and see, when you got 30 minutes or an hour to fit me in here. Okay, this is interesting. But what I realized is that within the next 10 days between when we scheduled it and when we actually met up, is that time switched one or two times. The location switched like a street or two so he could coordinate better with his paying huge consulting things that he was doing and things like that. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, this guy is actually so busy that he needs this whole, an assistant just to track his calendar properly, to piece all these things in properly. And so what I thought was interesting about that was the first thing is that it was one, I guess, instructive for myself. I'm saying, oh, this is pretty cool. I need to set this up for myself here pretty soon, because I've noticed that, we did a shit ton of advertising lately, and I've got a lot of new clients. I've got a couple consulting things that might come through. I've got a lot of people just asking me random advice. I got to shoot videos like this. I got to create content, do sales copy, all these things at the same time. And it's leading to kind of, again, a little feeling of, oh shit, there's a lot going on right now. I don't want to even call it or label it overwhelm. But I could tell that, I got to go back to the drawing board and restructure in my day-to-day routine so I make sure that I have time for everything. And because there's something that I was telling a client about this once, is that he was starting his business, he had quit his job, and his business was going pretty well, and he was trying to take it to the next level, or he was taking it to the next level, and all of a sudden the gym was falling off, and his social life was falling off. And what I said to him is, I'm like, you need to get this on point now before you hit the next level, because it's actually a block. There's a success barrier, there's a mental barrier, where your subconscious mind goes, okay, you can't even handle this, I ain't gonna give you any more. Because when you have 10 employees instead of 2, or you have 20 clients instead of 3, or you have a $20 million company instead of a $200,000 company, if you can't even balance it now, if your health is fucked right now, if you have a horrible social life right now, I ain't gonna give you any more. That's just gonna make things even more challenging and be more likely for us to not be in a good survival situation. So what I would say to you is, whatever level you're at right now, get the structure in place. Start getting the balance in place now, and that literally, it opens things up for the next level. And again, I noticed this in myself. If I look at when I started the business, and what I did, I was just early on, I'm just modeling other people and saying, okay, let me model these people and say, okay, what do they have going on? What are certain things? And one thing that I noticed really early on was that they were, again, much more cutthroat with who they spent their time with and how much time they spend doing different things. And part of that is when you have enough financial freedom, you can kind of do what you want, when you want, wherever you want, with who you want. And I mean, even me right now, kind of just hanging out with a selfie stick here at 2 p.m., having coffee dates and stuff like that with really cool people, where instead of being stuck in an office or something like that, I guess. So that is part of it. But it's also being willing to, again, have those boundaries. It was a little bit awkward for me when he diverted me to the assistant. I was kind of like, oh, are we not friends here? And I'm sure probably the first time he did that, he didn't feel comfortable doing it. I don't know, I could ask him that next time I see him. But I know for myself, it was the same thing, is that when I was starting off, I'd give advice to anyone that asked for it. Like, oh yeah, if anyone asked for my phone number, I'd be like, yeah, here's my phone number directly, you can contact me. Or if I get an email, I'd be like, oh yeah, just send me an email, any feedback you want. Now that I have with my clients, from the very beginning, there's no email support. I mean, if all of a sudden something up and happens, I'm not gonna be like, I'm not responding to you. But I have, there's very strict criteria of when we meet. I only do coaching sessions every other week, because it's a week on the business, a week in the business. Again, even when I did that, I'm like, oh my God, this is scary. But what I said, all these little steps along the way, even cutting off relationships with certain employees, cutting off certain relationships with certain friends, maybe certain mastermind groups that served me at a different time, and we became pretty close, but they no longer served me. And so I had mentor situations to where those no longer served me, and getting so fastidious is a great word, just so cutthroat with your time of knowing exactly what you want, and you need to have that long-term vision of knowing what you want, knowing the fastest way to get there, and then having the balls of literally cutting some of these people out of your life and really cutting the amount of time that you spend with certain people, because it's only going to get more challenging the more success you have. You're only going to have more people trying to reach out to you and ask you. So you got to get cutthroat with how you spend your time and with who you spend it with. And so hopefully that inspires you to kind of do a little bit. And like I said, I don't care if you're even in college right now and you're like, dude, I got so much free time and whatever. Like, just start with something. You're like, maybe it's just how much time you're going to spend reading, or maybe you go do that special weird sporting thing and you're doing it and it was cool back in the day and you no longer want to do it anymore. Whatever it is, get more cutthroat, emulate the best, emulate the most successful people, and it's going to lead to more success for you. So, hope you enjoyed that. Off to the gym now. Go change and get ready to do the next thing. As always, enjoy.